Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to see how examiners in Cambridge check IGCSE Economics examination. So the exam paper which we are going to see today is paper 2 October-November 2020, variant 22. Both the mark scheme and the question paper is down in the description box. So if you want to see and open that alongside watching the video, you can do that. It's quite convenient and it will be easy for you to understand how the answers are being explained. So here we are going to have answers given by high level exam candidate and the low level exam candidate. So we're going to have two answers for your comparison to see how examiners have given points to the one student who has achieved really high marks in economics and for one who has achieved low marks in economics. So the first question is to calculate the percentage of total world output of palm oil produced by Indonesia in 2017. So this question is pretty straightforward, and the examiner has given 1 out of 1. And this answer has been given by the student who has achieved high marks. I did not put here the answer written by low mark student because the answer was pretty much similar and it was just a 1 mark question, which is some the mathematics, so I didn't include it. Next is to identify two variable costs of producing palm oil. So for the first student, they have given 2 points because it was identified question and they have got 2 out of 2. But for the second student, the first point examined here has been a variable cost, but here they have mentioned it's a fixed cost. But the question asked us to give us two variable costs. Because of that, they have just got 1 out of 2. Okay, let's see the second one. Also, one thing to note here is that since in the second line, in the fourth part here, they have also given casual labor, which is a variable cost. But in the examination, they are going to see what first two costs you have given. The student over here has given variable cost, but maintenance of irrigation was a fixed cost. And first is a variable cost and the second is a fixed cost. So only first two costs will be seen. They won't see the third cost given. So please be mindful when you write your answers. Just because only first two costs will be considered, even though the third one was a variable cost, and the student must get a mark for it. But still, only first two will be seen. Let's go to the C part. Explain one opportunity cost of conserving forest in Indonesia. Over here, the high marking candidate has gone 1 out of 2 and the low marking candidate has got 0 out of 2. So let's look at the answer of the high marking candidate. They have given the answer for conserving forests in Indonesia, but they did not tell what opportunity cost is because over here, 1 mark was for the definition of opportunity cost and the other one was to answer the question. Because of that, the candidate has just gone 1 out of 2. And the second one, the examiner has said that this statement is a vague statement and it doesn't even answer the question given above. Because of that, this candidate has got 0 out of 2. Let's go on the next question. Explain two external costs of the destruction of forests in Indonesia. Okay, so the candidate, let's look first at the examiner's viewpoint. The candidate needs to explain why this loss of habitat will be a cost to the wildlife. They haven't mentioned this in their answer. Second, the candidate needs to explain how the harmful gases can have a cost on third parties. So, looking at the examiner's viewpoint, the candidate getting a high mark has not related to the question properly. Because of that, they have just got 2 out of 4. Seems like first they have given the definition of what external cost is over here. They have identified the point, but they have not explained it. Because of that, they have just got 2 out of 4 instead of 4 out of 4. Over here, the candidate who has got a low mark has not clearly told what they are and what the external cost of they are, what they have mentioned may be. And in the second one, they have mentioned many wildlife animals will not have homes. That's a relevant cost, but the candidate did not explain it further. Because of that, they have just got 1 out of 4 just for the identification. Let's go to the E part. Over here, they have asked to draw a demand and supply diagram to show the effect of a ban on burning stubble on the market for rice. First of all, the candidate has said this is a good diagram. This is a good diagram because it's pretty big and pretty clear, and all the markings have been done, all the labeling has been done. Because of that, this diagram is really good and it has got 4 out of 4. It is well labeled, it's clear, it's accurate, and the candidate has not written much except this line, lower quantity traded at higher price. Other than that, there's no explanation given, and it's good because in this question, just a drawing of the diagram was required and no explanation was required. Because of that, no time was wasted, and there's just one phrase written which complements the diagram. Because of that, the candidate has got 4 out of 4. If we see this diagram, it's not properly labeled. There's no X's, what measurements are there. In this, the diagram is completely incomplete. Because of that, the candidate has got 0 out of 4. Let's go to the F part. This is an analyze question. Analyze the relationship between countries' GDP per head ranking and HDI ranking. First, this answer is given by a high marking candidate. So they're saying that expected explanation is clearly set out, understanding of the components of HDI is shown here, evidence is provided in support of the data. This point is really important because this question is related to the passage given in the starting. So it should definitely relate to what's given there. If it doesn't relate, your marks will be cut. And there is a supporting evidence given here. And in this case, the student have got 5 out of 5 because there was a relevant exception is identified here, and full marks have been awarded because all the criteria has been there in this question for the analyzed question. Because of that, full on full 5 out of 5 are given in this question. You can read this answer and you can see how this candidate has written the answer so that you can imitate in your final exam. Let's see. Only this much answer has been given by the low scoring candidate. The data does not actually show economic growth. It means they have made an analyze which was not there. They have just made it by themselves. The answer is vague and does not show a careful analysis of this data. So there was no analysis, there was no proper identification. The answer was not up to the mark, because of which the candidate has got 0 out of 5. This is a discuss question. Discuss whether or not the immigration of workers would be likely to benefit the Indonesian economy. Now let's see the examiner's viewpoint because this candidate has gone 6 on 6. There is a strong consideration of how immigration of workers could benefit Indonesia. Points are well linked and maximum marks are awarded on this side. In the first paragraph, since this is a discuss question, you have to write for the question and against the question. So for one side, which was the positive side, the candidate has written very properly and the candidate has gone full marks. In the against question, where the candidate has used the word however, here too they have got full marks. Thus, the candidate recognizes that immigration may result in overcrowding and could have a negative effect on the balance of payments. So, analysis on both the sides have been given, and that's what is asked in the discuss question. Because of that, this candidate has got 6 out of 6. Now, let's see how a low marking candidate has got. This candidate has just got 2 out of 6. The candidate has identified potential benefit, but the candidate didn't explain it further. Also, candidate identifies a possible cost, which is a negative point here, but it is not made clear how it may occur. So the candidate has got 2 out of 6. So we can say that 2 marks here are given just for the identification for both of the sides. But since there was no explanation, because of that, this candidate has lost 4 marks. This is the other discussed question. Discuss whether or not the Indonesian tourism industry will increase in the future. Let's see the examiner's viewpoint. Again, this candidate has got full marks on the first side. There's a good coverage of chances in global income, advertising effective, the attractiveness of Indonesia as a tourist attraction, and the competitiveness of the Indonesian tourist industry. This is all identified on the first side. In the second side, in the first two sentences, the candidate just writes the reverse of what have appeared in the first paragraph. So in the first line, it's just the opposite mention. The last sentence does enable the candidate to be awarded full marks for this answer as it explains how palm oil production could reduce ecotourism. Now, looking at this, the examiner has said that the first two lines of the other part of the question is just the opposite written of what was written in the first paragraph. The candidate has not been awarded marks for that point. The candidate has been awarded marks for the point where they have mentioned about the palm oil production. Because of that, they have got the other mark. So in this question, the candidate has also got 6 on 6. And in the first part, part A of the question paper, this candidate has got 27 out of 30. Let's see how the low scoring candidate has achieved. They have just got 1 out of 6. Let's see the reasons. This is a possible reason why Indonesian tourism may not increase. The candidate does not answer this point further. Again, there's just identification given, there's no explanation to the point. Let's see the 15 one. It is not clear which country's natural beauty is being referred here. If it is Indonesia as suggested by the source material, it might be a reason why more rather than less tourists may go to Indonesia. And because of that, it's just 1 out of 6. And this candidate has just got 6 marks out of 30. So, because of that, this examiner has again in this question just done the exam identification. There's no explanation, and they have used words like they have mentioned before, like natural beauty is being referred. It means that just they're mentioning words like they are. It's not particular mention which country they're talking about. Because of that, also they have lost marks. So please take care about this in your examination. Well, there's some bonus points here. Okay, let's see how the high scoring candidate could have improved their answer. In the C question, which was this question about the opportunity cost, how the candidate could have improved their answer. The candidate did not recognize that the possible opportunity cost of conserving forests is a production of palm oil, but did not explain this may be the next best alternative foregone or given up. Again, they did mention the answer of the question, but they did mention the definition of opportunity cost, because of which they lost a point. The D part. The candidate needed to explain how the loss of wildlife and release of harmful gases impose cost on third parties. Again, there was identification of the point, but there was no explanation. Because of that, they lost 2 marks. So that's why the candidate got 27 out of 30. They lost 1 mark in C part and 2 marks in D part. This candidate has to overall pay more attention to stimulus material and answer the question in more depth. So here's a brief explanation of how the candidate could have improved each and every question. So you can read it out and you can pause the video and check how the questions could have been improved. So guys, that's what was the video for today. If you liked it, please comment in the video and do tell us how we can improve. And if you want us to cover any other topics, please tell us in the comment section. And if you like this video and you found it really helpful for your examinations, please hit a like and don't forget to subscribe the video. Thank you so much and see you in the next video. Bye.